I pretended I was going on a trip. Then I caught my wife living a whole different life. My name is Jacob Miles, I'm 42 years old, and I work as a civil engineer in Dallas, Texas. I've always been a calm, practical man, the type who believes in building not just bridges and structures, but trust and stability in relationships too. I grew up in a hardworking middle-class family, where honesty was everything. My parents taught me that love is sacred and loyalty is the foundation of every lasting bond. For most of my adult life, I thought I was living the dream. I had a stable career, a comfortable home, and a wife I believed was my soulmate, Eva Miles, 38 years old. Eva worked as an interior designer, and she had that artistic spark that drew everyone's attention. She was beautiful, smart, and incredibly charming. People used to tell me how lucky I was to have her. And honestly, I believed it too. We met 8 years ago at a client's home renovation project. I was managing the construction side, and she was in charge of design. From the very first day, she made me laugh. She had this way of lighting up a room, and within months, I couldn't imagine life without her. We got married after a year, had a small ceremony, and built our dream home together. For years, I thought everything was perfect. She'd make breakfast for me every morning, kiss me goodbye, and text me sweet messages during work hours. In the evenings, we'd cook together, talk about our days, and sometimes sit out on the patio watching the sunset. It was peaceful, ordinary, and beautiful. But sometimes, even the calmest water hides the deepest secrets. It all started when Eva began acting a little strange. At first, it was subtle. She started dressing up more when I wasn't around, saying she had client meetings in the evenings. She changed her perfume, started spending more time on her phone, and guarded it like it was made of gold. When I'd walk into the room, she'd lock the screen quickly, smiling as if nothing happened. I wanted to trust her. I told myself she was just busy with work, maybe trying to grow her business. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Then, one night, while we were watching a movie, her phone buzzed. She went pale and jumped to grab it before I could even glance at the screen. I didn't say anything, but her reaction told me everything. She was hiding something. A week later, she said she had to go out of town for 2 days to meet a high-end client. She seemed overly enthusiastic, almost rehearsed. That's when a small voice in my head said, "Jacob, it's time to find out the truth." So I came up with a plan. 2 weeks later, I told her I was the one going on a business trip to Houston for 4 days. I even packed a suitcase, kissed her goodbye, and drove off early in the morning. But instead of going to Houston, I checked into a small motel about 10 minutes from our home. I parked my car in a nearby garage and took a taxi back toward our neighborhood later that afternoon. My heart was pounding. It felt like something out of a movie, a husband trying to uncover the truth about his wife. When I got close to the house, I saw her car parked in the driveway. She was supposed to be working in another city that day. My chest tightened. I crept up quietly and peered through the front window. What I saw shattered me. Eva was inside, laughing, with another man. He was sitting comfortably on our couch, my couch. They had wine glasses in their hands. He looked relaxed, like he'd been there many times before. She leaned on his shoulder, giggling, whispering something in his ear. My world came crashing down. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking, my eyes filled with tears, and all I could think about were the years I spent loving her, trusting her, believing in her. I wanted to storm inside, but something stopped me. I decided I needed proof. So I took out my phone and started recording. For the next few minutes, I watched them act like a couple, kissing, laughing, walking into the kitchen together. That man wasn't a stranger. He was Daniel, one of her clients. A wealthy real estate investor. I'd met him once when Eva introduced him as just business. It all made sense now. The expensive gifts she said were client bonuses, the sudden weekend, work trips, the late-night calls she'd excuse as deadlines. I left quietly, my heart completely broken. For the next few days, I pretended nothing happened. I went through the motions, texting her, calling her, even telling her I missed her. She played along so well, I almost wondered if I'd imagined the whole thing. But then she made a mistake. She told me she had to go on another, design trip, to San Antonio. I smiled and said, "Sure, honey. Be safe." But instead of letting her go alone, I followed her. She didn't go to San Antonio. She drove straight to a luxury apartment downtown, and Daniel was there waiting for her. I watched them kiss in the parking lot before walking inside. That was it, the confirmation I needed. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to make sure I did it my way. For the next month, I quietly gathered everything: photos, videos, text messages, call logs. I even spoke to one of her coworkers, who hinted that Eva and Daniel had been seeing each other for months. Once I had enough evidence, I contacted my lawyer. We planned everything carefully. Then came the day of reckoning. Eva came home one evening, humming a tune, pretending everything was normal. I sat at the dining table, calm as ever, with a folder in front of me. She smiled and said, "Hey baby, how was work?" I looked up and said, "Good. How was your trip?" She froze for a moment. "It was fine. The client loved my design." I pushed the folder toward her. "Then maybe you can explain these." She opened it, pictures of her and Daniel, printed screenshots of messages, timestamps, everything. Her face turned white. She tried to speak, but no words came out. Finally, she whispered, "Jacob, I can explain." But I stopped her. "No, Eva, you've been living a whole different life, and I was the fool who believed in you." She cried, begged, said it was a mistake, that she loved me, that she didn't mean to hurt me. But there was no turning back. I had already filed for divorce. The next day, I packed her things and left them at the doorstep. Daniel picked her up. She didn't even look back. But here's where karma stepped in. A few months later, I heard from a mutual friend that Daniel had left her. Apparently, she'd wanted him to commit, but he never did. He used her, and when he was done, he moved on. Eva tried to contact me, leaving voicemails, saying she regretted everything, that she lost the best thing that ever happened to her. I never replied. It's been 2 years now. I rebuilt my life from the ground up. I bought a new house, focused on my work, and slowly learned to smile again. The betrayal scarred me, but it also taught me something valuable, that love without honesty is nothing but a beautiful lie. And the best revenge isn't anger or shouting or trying to make them suffer. It's moving on while they're stuck living with the weight of their choices. Now, whenever I think about Eva, I don't feel hate anymore. Just a quiet reminder that sometimes, the person you trust most can turn into the stranger who teaches you the hardest lesson of your life. So if you're watching this and you've ever been betrayed, remember. You don't need to destroy them. Let life do it for you. Just walk away with your dignity, because peace is the sweetest form of revenge. And as for me, I may have lost a wife, but I found myself again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, what would you have done if you were in my place?